you guys had a wonderful day today. It's Saturday, early evening, and I am preparing my dinner. I'm not real hungry, but I had taken out this food, so it's like, you better fix this fish. So I'm just going to show you what I'm having. I just have a couple pieces of tilapia, and I'm using my smoked paprika seasoning and just a little bit of salt. That's what I put on there. These are from, if you remember my organization video where I was doing my seasoning containers. So that's just my containers for my seasonings. So yeah, I'm just gonna fix this tilapia, and then I have started doing, guys, I discovered like this wonderful salad. So I love to have a warm spinach salad. You can't see my face. So I love to have a warm spinach salad, and so I would do the little cucumbers, the little miniature or cocktail cucumbers. I love the way they taste. I get those at Costco. You can get them anywhere. Sometimes I buy them at Target as well. But so I would dice those up for my salad, my warm spinach salad. And then I started putting strawberries in. But I always do like a vinaigrette dressing because I just love vinaigrette, balsamic. I'm not into the creams. But I found this Simply, I think it's by Ken's. It's a balsamic vinaigrette dressing. And it was kind of light. Now, I made a mistake and bought the wrong kind at the grocery store the other week, but it's okay. I still use it, and I'll use it all up until I've used them, and I'll just go back to buying what I like. But I warm that dressing up, like I'll put it in my bowl, whatever bowl I'm going to use, and I will warm that dressing up. And then actually, if I'm making my salad, my spinach salad, I pour the dressing on top, and then I'll nuke that in the microwave with the spinach for about 20, 22 seconds. It's perfect. The spinach isn't wilted, but the dressing is warm. And so then I'll pour in my cucumbers and strawberries. And sometimes I add red onions. I can't do that all the time because I'm allergic to red onions, but I love them. But I have to really be careful with the red onions. But my favorite is to add the red onions in there. So warm spinach salad. And then I just discovered, I don't know what it is, but that dressing on strawberries it's everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, why does this dressing taste so good with these strawberries? So whatever. So I just started making myself a salad of just the strawberries and the cucumbers. And again, I'll add the red onions sometimes, but I can't do that all the time. But I'll just make a salad of like that with the strawberries and cucumbers and that vinaigrette dressing. I absolutely love it. And sometimes that's the side that I'll have with my meal. And so that's what I'm doing today because I'm not really hungry. I have a little bit of some spinach I sauteed earlier this week. I have a little bit of that left, but I'll probably eat that tomorrow because the other thing I did today was I got up today and I got on the smoker and smoked some turkey wings and turkey legs. So that's what I'm going to be having for dinner this week. And I had some broccoli and rice casserole that I did over the holidays. It was, just sharing with others. And so I did just like a big batch. I still had some of the roux left from that. So I said, you know what? I pull out my food saver. I'm going to save this roux because I'll make another broccoli and rice. I thought I was going to do it Easter, but I ended up Easter, popped up on me. I didn't even cook for Easter. I think I went out to dinner with some church members on Easter, but yeah, I didn't even cook, but I decided to cook that today. I have to go out of town in a couple of weeks, so I'll be able to eat that this week. And then if I don't eat all the turkey wings and the turkey legs, whatever, I can definitely, freeze those and eat them later. But I did smoke turkey wings, I think, not this past year, but year before last for Thanksgiving. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. It reminded me of, when we go to the fair and we do the smoked turkey, legs and that they do at the fair, but it's like it was so good. I was like, why haven't I been smoking turkey legs? I did some beef ribs one day, but before I had been doing mostly like pork ribs, and I wanted to switch to beef ribs, so I did that. I think Christmas. I think I did beef ribs for Christmas, but yeah, I went back and I um, turkey parts, wings and legs. And I think I just used some, I had some, um, what did I put on that? I had some rub, like a chicken rub. I had a chicken rub that I used for that. And I had, what did I use? Oh, I put this honey garlic seasoning on it. That's all I put on the turkey wings and turkey legs. So I use that for seasoning. But yeah, so that's what I'm getting ready to do. I'm just getting ready to go ahead and cook a little bit of something. It's Saturday evening, and um, I was working on a project earlier. I got up and I was finally able to do, if you guys remember, I did the birthday celebration. And so, like I did when I went on my trip to the Holy Land, let me show you this. Okay, when I went on my trip to the Holy Land, I created this memory book for myself, and I used this online app called Mixbook. And even photographers recommend for you to make your memories on Mixbook, but I really like it. It was easy, and all I had to do was just, you know what, I just thought about something I forgot to do on the book that I just ordered. Oh well. So, anyways, this is the memory book that I made from my trip to the Holy Land. And so, all of those pictures that I did, I just, put them in this book and wrote little notes so I can always go back and, reminisce and remember where I was, what I saw. So, I just created that. I love that. So I did one for my birthday, and I finally finished it now. I did my celebration last month, but I finally finished that book, and I ordered it. I was just thinking, I just remembered something I forgot to do, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay. I may be able to edit it. I may be able to go back in and edit and make a revision before they actually print, because I just did that earlier. So yeah, that's what I did today. I'm glad to be able to check that off my list. And I had to go back to the grocery store, pick up a few things for around the house, and I'm just getting ready to make my dinner, guys. So I will I'll come back and maybe see you guys a little bit later. All right, talk to you in a few. Bye. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm just sitting here at the dining room table. I finished my dinner, and I was just sitting here, and I started thinking back to the conversation last week. I should name this like the Kitchen Chronicles or something, but I was thinking back to the conversation last week about lukewarm Christians. And I don't know why that's kind of been on my mind lately too. And I think wanting to expose the trick of the enemy, um, because lukewarm people are not spiritual enough to gauge where they are in relation to their spiritual walk with Christ. They're not they can't assess the temperature correctly. What it boils down to, of course, is a lack of commitment. You're non-committal. You want to have one foot in the world and one foot in the kingdom. But unfortunately, as the word tells us, that Christ said he wished that we were either hot or cold, not lukewarm. He can't stand that. And I was thinking that one of the reasons is because you've said that you believe, and he wants so desperately for you to live forever with him. He wants that so much, for you to live forever with him. But he's just not going to be able to do it because, you know, you were not committed, and you wanted to have one foot in the world, enjoying the things of the world, not obedient to God as required, and more than likely not serving in your purpose as well. And you still wanted to partake of the things of the world. And when I say that, I mean to a level that it's things that would prohibit you from getting into heaven. And I think I touched on some of that last week. We have to be really careful of of what we buy into in the world. The thing that I notice is that Christians, I have never seen the like of the Christian buy-in or desire or love for the things of the world like I see right now. I've never seen it. When you watch award shows, and I don't watch award shows, but I watch YouTube, and you'll see clips of what people wear, and what kinds of things people are doing. But I mean, the songs that artists sing, there's such a love and influence of the world that Christians want to graft in those things of the world. There's such a love for it. If it's not that kind of thing, it's the clothing, it's the dress. I've got to have the latest this, and I've got to have this shoe and these glasses, and these clothes, with these designer names. Idols. Idols. Worshiping, designers, and not to mention actors, and all of these kinds of things that we get so focused on. But I'm kind of getting off topic. I was talking about lukewarm. But here's the thing. The what we have to understand is the end game of the enemy. What is he really after? He is rarely ever after the thing that you think. When the enemy moves into your life and influences things and people around you, what you see is a physical or outward manifestation. But that is rarely the thing that he's after. Someone steals your house. I mean, not steal. Well, they do steal houses now. Car. Someone shoots your loved one, or shoots you, or someone gets sick, or it's not that he wants. It's not that thing, the outward thing that you see. The ultimate end game that he wants is your soul. So if by influencing people around you to act a certain way, behave a certain way, commit certain acts around you, he can take advantage of your weaknesses, because you have demons assigned to you to watch your behavior and how you respond to things, because that's how they know what works with you and what doesn't. And so he can keep you in a cycle of certain responses. He can keep you at a certain level and just have you going around in circle, because he continues to attack that weakness because it works. When you have sports players, they study the other team. They watch the other team's habits. They watch if, one guy tends to go offside. That's maybe in football. In tennis, they may watch your film and see that, oh, you tend to pull to the left, or when you're serving on the ad side, you can't get back into position. So the enemy watches your patterns, learns your weaknesses, and then exploits them. And you can't figure out, why is this person, why is it that I always get off track here, that I'm always derailed here, or I can't get past this. It's because the enemy is using that weakness. But if you're not in tuned enough, you don't explore to know what that is spiritually, and you're not communicating with God, then of course you won't know that. But the thing about lukewarm Christians and the enemy's tactic there, ultimately he wants your soul. That's the end game. He wants to win. He doesn't want you to go to heaven. So but what he does is he plays to your weakness of, oh, I can be a nice person. I'm going to be a nice person and hang out with these people, and it won't hurt me. It won't cost me anything. He plays to that weakness that you have. And one thing is to make you believe that you can steal your way into heaven because you're non-committal. You're not committing to the kingdom, and you're not totally committed to the world. But he wants to make you think that you can steal your way into heaven. So I use the analogy of a baseball game. And you know how you'll have all the bases are loaded. So everyone has an assignment. They're safe. At that point, they're safe. But sometimes a player may think, oh, you know what? I think I can steal another base. I think I can steal my way to third base. I think I can steal my way to home plate. So they'll go back and forth. They'll inch up. And when the pitcher is looking, they'll run back to their spot to be safe, because it looks like, let me get back to safety because I've got the pitcher's looking at me. So let me get back to safety. And then when the pitcher turns his back again to, throw to the other player, then they're the person is again. They're the player is again trying to inch their way out, not committed to third base, don't want to be safe. I don't want to be, in a safe zone. I'm going to try to steal my way, into home. And ultimately what happens, they get caught between the third baseman, and they get caught between the, I don't know which umpire, not umpire, but the person that's at home plate, catcher, the catcher. I don't know baseball that well, right? They'll get caught, and both of those, the third baseman and the catcher, eventually will come closer and closer to each other until they get the person sandwiched in. Time is out. You've nowhere to go. There's no way for you to get out of this. You can't get back to safety of third base, and you can't steal home. And so what ends up happening is you're out. You're done. That is what the enemy is doing with the lukewarm Christian. We have to pay attention to and learn the tricks of the enemy. We have to pay attention. And sometimes not sometimes, but a lot of times they're tailor-made. They're individualized for you and for me. The tricks and things that he does is individualized for us because it has to be a snare based on our weaknesses that he can exploit to deceive us for the end game of making us miss heaven. So I pray for members of the body who may be in that place, and I pray that God will open their eyes, and that they will be fully committed, that they will be fully committed to the kingdom. And I don't know what's in the world that is so enticing, but there are some emotional things that he plays on. Again, I was talking about our egos. He plays on our egos, our weaknesses. There are some hidden things in us, some emotional scars that make us desire certain things. So because we desire those things, the enemy knows that. So he uses those things to capture our attention, to feed that ego, to feed that emotional need. So if I look the best, if I have all the latest designer things, then, people may be complimenting me. I may be the best dressed someplace that I go. People think that, I have a certain lifestyle. But all of those things are falsely giving you a false system of health and security, but the enemy knows. And he uses that to trap you in a cycle of unhealthy attachments. Unhealthy attachments to the things of the world. There's this singer, and he did this song a few years ago. His name is Jonathan McReynolds, and he did this song called Cycles. And I thought it was a really good song, and it was so true. It was so true. But that's particularly what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about for not just that but for lukewarm Christians. That's the thing. So you really need to spend time with God, exploring some unmet emotional needs, physical needs, trauma in your life, so that the enemy cannot exploit those things and use you and put you in a cycle of having these replacement things that really become idols in your life. So you idolize the world, and that's one of the reasons why you won't make it in, because you just couldn't commit. You couldn't totally commit to God. And I also think about, I've been an educator. I'm an educator, and I think about, as a teacher, you have all of your students, and you want all of them to do well, and you give out assignments, and you have a rubric for the students to follow. This is another. You have a rubric for the students to follow to complete their assignment. And you have some students that do very well. I mean, you tell them you need to do A, B, and C, and it needs to include all of this, and boy, they're going to follow it to the letter, because they're rule followers, and they love to please the teacher, so they're going to do exactly what's there. Some will go overboard, or I shouldn't say over, but they're just going to do the most. And then you have some that are going to do the bare minimum, and some that have in their minds, I don't have to do this, I can just do this, and I can still pass. And then, to their surprise, they get their paper back, and they failed. They failed because they didn't follow the rubric. They were given the rubric, they didn't follow it. And you have to hear, that's so unfair. Why did I get this? Why did I get this? And you hate to do it. You hate to, have them come because you really wanted them to do well and you feel so bad. But you can't give them a pass because it's unjust and unfair to the others who followed the rubric. And you said up front that here's what you have to do. If you have questions, if you don't understand something, you need to ask me before the assignment is due so that I can help you. I'm available to support you. I'll stay after school. I'll meet you before school. I'll take my lunch break and I'll sit with you to help you get these things done or to explain something that you don't understand. And this is, and you do that for all of the students, but you have some of those students that are just going to push it and they're just going to try their best not to do what's asked. But at the end of the day, you become the bad guy because they didn't follow the rubric. That's why Christ dislikes someone who's lukewarm, because at the end of the day, that's the way it's going to be. You'll get that depart from me message. I never knew you. And, I can imagine, the bargaining but I did this and I did this and I did this. But at the end of the day, you didn't follow the rubric. You didn't totally follow the rubric. You wanted to, do as little as you could, and you didn't do what was required of you. So, anyways, I was just thinking about that, and I think I'll just say that the important thing is to understand the enemy's end game. The end game is always the same. The end game is he wants to have your soul. That's the end game. How he gets there is determined individually by you as an individual with whatever weaknesses, unresolved issues, unresolved trauma, emotional needs, physical needs, unmet emotional needs, whatever those are, he uses those to exploit you. Oh, here's something. I got this from the General, Charles Stanley. God bless him for his dedicated lifelong service. I like Charles Stanley. I enjoyed listening to him, and I think I have maybe one or two of his books, but I enjoy it. He's so practical. His teaching is so practical, easy to understand. But here's what he said, and I'll give you the example. Listen to this. Charles Stanley said, this is about spiritual warfare. He said you need to halt, right? He's saying overcoming the enemy's attacks or something like that. He said you need to halt. And halt stood for, the enemy will attack you when you're hungry, when you're angry, when you're lonely, or when you're tired. So he said halt, right? That was his thing. And then it made me think of, and I say this, remember when Jesus had come out of the wilderness, right? The 40 days and 40 nights he was in the wilderness and fasting. And as soon as he comes out, the enemy comes to tempt him, right? So he's hungry, he's tired, and he wants to see his family. So here comes the enemy to try to tempt him right at that time. So I said that to go back to saying that, we have unresolved things, emotional things that, physical things that are unresolved, that we try to substitute or fulfill through the things of the world, whatever that is. And so the enemy uses that He uses that against us to exploit us, and like I said, that's how he keeps us in cycles, and he keeps us deceived. He keeps us deceived. So I pray that the person, anyone that may be hearing this, that this message or that this information will strike you, that it will resonate with you, and you simply just listen, y'all. Let me tell you. I I wish that everyone, all of us, would know how much God loves us. And I can testify that He will not leave you ignorant. If you seek Him, you will find Him. But the word says, it continues on, when you seek Him with all your heart. He will tell you what you want to know. He will deliver you. He will heal you. He will give you the answer. He doesn't want you out here not knowing or being clueless. He desires you to be with Him. He desires that relationship with you. So He's not going to withhold information that you need. Wouldn't it be better to be whole and healthy than to continue to rely on the addictions and idols of the world to satisfy the voids that we may have? So I pray that the person that needed to hear that will hear that. That's important. The person that needed to hear it will hear it. Anyway, guys, it's Saturday night. I need to go do something to my head. I need to go do something to my head because it's going on 7 o'clock now. Yeah, I gotta go take all of this down and try to redo it for the next couple weeks or so. I should have. No, I'm not gonna do it. Anyways, guys, listen. That's all I wanted to share today. That's what I was talking about today. I'm going to go so I can do something to my head, and I will prayerfully see you guys again next week. I finished my wreath. I don't know if I when I did the project the other. Actually, I think that video hit today, but I finished the wreath, and I ended up having to change out the little blue things I was stuck on. I'll I'm not going to show it this week. I went looking for the flower arrangement that I wanted to go in my planter. Still didn't see anything. So as soon as I find that, I want to get my porch together. I have to go out of town in a couple of weeks. So I think next weekend, before I go out of town, I really want to get my porch set up. But anyways, guys, anyway, thank y'all for hanging out with me for this time. And also, don't forget to like the video if it resonates with you. If you find the information of value, don't forget to like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.